front. We'll get a look at it again, but tell us what you're doing and what you're thinking in those circumstances.
First and foremost, you just hoping that everybody's okay. It looked like there was some pretty big hits there. But just coming into two, I'd actually already got out of it. I knew in some of the practices how tough it was, to go flat out through there, especially with the new bumps that we have there this year. And obviously they tried to go a couple wide. And looking at some of the replays, maybe it just Hunter and Wickens got into each other and then into the fence, and then you're just trying to slow down as quick as possible. But in speedway configuration here, it's really hard to pull these cars up and really hard to move them abruptly without spinning out. So it's again, just hope everybody's okay.
At the start of the race, there were some problems in the back from the middle of the pack. Were there any issues? Was it a normal race or anything out of the ordinary at the start?
I think the problem was the person taking us to the start. I was in third gear, then down to second, then to first, then back to second. It was all over the map. And I can't comment too much, but I don't know if there was a bit of accordion going on. But just asking, it sounded like everybody's pretty packed up. But the start speed going to the green was just all over the shop. And we went so late, and I think everybody wasn't expecting that. Definitely not something we'd ever done in the past.
First accident of the day.
So, as you said, right now everybody's thoughts are making sure Robbie Wickens is okay. We have no information at this point, and there's an hour delay at least as they repair the fence. Unfortunately, you've been through this sit and wait and the emotions of uncertainty right now. How do you deal with that as a racing driver?
It's hard, you don't want to see your friends get hurt. Robbie, I think, is a big concern, but also, James looked like, he had something going with his hand there, or maybe both hands too. So, you hope that everybody that was involved there, Fittipaldi's had some, recent, accidents with his feet, that he's okay too, because he had a pretty big frontal crash there. So yeah, that is all you're thinking about. These are people we race with every week, weekend and week in, week out. That they're going to be okay. But yeah, we'll see how much of a delay we have here, and get back racing, and hopefully we don't see something like that again.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, man.
And that's the words of a four-time champion and a guy who's been in the sport for almost 20 years and has had his own big incidents. Remember Indianapolis last year with that really frightening crash, and that will be featured in a movie that's coming up that Scott is the focal point of, called Born Racer, that comes out in October. And so interesting to hear his thoughts about the start.
Holy Hannah! Wow, that was last year.
It doesn't get any easier to watch.
Bam!
No,
I remember
he was
that last year.
lucky to walk out of that and
Oh,
just
he was
look at the
damn
difference
lucky
in
to
how
walk
he
out of that.
landed on the safer barrier in the catch fencing in Indianapolis.
That's my mom, guys.
What Robbie Wickens just went through here, and it's just pure luck in terms of how you impacted and
Wow.
That's why they had every
chaos.
safety
It's
kind
chaos
of
in front of you.
precaution.
To your
in those
point,
cars.
Delara.
I'm still shaking from that one.
Safety cell is just that. The cars are meant
Because
to
there's so
shrink
little of
with the
that vehicle
gearbox
or
and the
that
engine
car.
and everything lit to
They
go.
make it that
Meanwhile, the
safe.
safety cell
Where you
stays
walk out of
intact.
that.
We saw that with Scott at Indy and here with Robbie.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget the job that the safer barrier did as well.
But
Because
bear
if
in mind,
Robbie
sometimes people
or
get so
anybody
lucky.
would have hit that wall being concrete like back in the day, we would have been talking about a much more different scenario than right now. But we've done a lot in terms of safety with the cars, the chassis, the tubs,
Yep.
safer walls. But I've talked about this since Vegas. Nothing's happened with the catch fencing. And when one of these cars, or even a NASCAR, gets up into the fencing, they just shred themselves apart. And the driver's really at risk there.
So we want to go back and talk about the initial start that we heard Scott Dixon have some pretty strong and definite thoughts about, and about the fluctuating speed. Townsend, your thoughts?
Well, the drivers know better than anyone. Watching Will Power on the pole here, there's nothing obvious to us, but we
That was
can't
the
really
first
tell
one.
up here the difference between 40 or 80 miles an hour, candidly. The difference between
That was
first
not
and
even a
second
lap
gear, like
in.
Dixon was able to share with us. But clearly,
Start.
you gotta trust
Start.
Scott Dixon's
Here I'm
perspective.
screaming,
He's
let's
been doing
go.
this for such a long time,
And this
he said
happens.
that the start was just uncharacteristic.
Yeah, that was the first one where I was screaming,
Now,
let's
that
go,
has
let's go.
Nothing to do with the accident we just witnessed,
Second one.
but it just
Then the
goes to
second
show
one.
that after the start
No,
in
that's the
Ohio,
first one still.
there's still probably a little gamesmanship because you do not want to be anywhere but out front here going into that first corner. Now, the drivers were already lifting because of the yellow coming out on the front straightaway, But again, I trust Dixon's perspective, and he was even surprised at, hey, I was in third, then I was in second, then I was in first.
You never trust my perspective.
There's always 100 reasons
always
why. I
disagree
just
with me.
But listen, this is the second race in a row now where the pole sitter, and on the front row, they dictate the terms. And we've heard from IndyCar's race director that at Mid-Ohio, the pole sitter, Alexander Rossi, was not keeping up pace car speed. You had some pretty strong thoughts on it. Now, here we are
And
here
they're all
3 weeks
sitting
later.
and
We're coming
waiting.
down at the end of the season.
They're on an
It's
hour
going to be
delay
pretty
right
tight.
now.
And guys are now saying, okay, they're playing games with each other and trying to get an advantage and trying to make something happen and put other people at a disadvantage. And then it's kind of.
But that's on.
It's funny, I keep having somebody
Ultimately,
come
that's
off and
race
on,
control.
off
You
and
got two
on,
little
off and
kids.
on.
If one takes a chocolate when he's not supposed to, you can't just tell him, hey, no more chocolates, right? You've got to figure out how to govern what you expect from the start. It's very difficult to be in a situation as official, too, to penalize the guy that's on pole, that's starting the race. We thought that Rossi was aggressive at Mid-Ohio, but within the rules, obviously, because there was no penalty. Now, if you're another driver in the field, what do? You're like, well, if that was okay, right? If that's the new level,
I'll do it too.
then that's game on,
Right.
and that's what I'm going to do. And
Yeah.
it tends to lead to a snowball effect that sometimes goes too far.
And it all comes down to, and as you guys know, responsibility and accountability. And race control says, right, you're the pole sitter, you guys are on the front row. I want you to employ some common sense. You're going to dictate the terms, but don't try and manipulate it too badly. So, I don't know, does it just come down to good old-fashioned gamesmanship in a way?
Well, I think this series allows the drivers to, like they said, maintain. You're supposed to maintain pace car speed.
Right. So what is it? 80
It's
miles an hour?
obvious in the last 2 races they have not, because we know now that the drivers said no, we were going way slower than that. So, there's two ways of doing it. I mean, I'm trying to make a comparison to NASCAR. They have a hard and fast rules that you maintain speed, you go at this point, and if you don't, they don't care who it is, you get a penalty.
Here's the thing, though. We don't have the ability to tell how fast they're going. I don't think race control can easily tell either. They're looking at the same monitor, same information we are.
You're meaning live.
Correct. Live as it's happening, it wasn't obvious to me that there was anything going on. It
Right.
just looked like Graham Rahal ran into the back of Pickett. Well, in hindsight now, hearing from Dixon, well, I understand Graham, wanting to get a run, thinking that everybody was going, and then things getting checked up.
But when you look at those replays, if you look further back on the inside line, I think it was Pietro Fittipaldi jumped out to avoid hitting the back of Ed Carpenter, and there was a bit of jostling going on, not just between Rahal and Pickett.
Yeah.
So there was more going on. Let's have another look further back, and instead of looking to the left-hand lane,
There we
as
go.
we're looking at it here, look to the right and look in the back and look at Ed Carpenter's car. Slow it down there. Watch here, third car back on that right-hand lane. There goes Fittipaldi to
Okay.
avoid. And there's jostling here. Is that Canaan or is that laced? There's more of it going on than just Pickett and Rahal.
Oh, here's what I'd say about it, though, in terms of starts. Paul, in my IndyCar start career and your start career, I can't think of many times that I've experienced a perfectly smooth roll-on.
All right,
start.
guys,
It's
I'll update
always
you
about
guys
trying to
on
get a
how
jump.
he's doing.
It's always about trying to be up on the wheel and make something happen. So